Bear down, Bears fans. On today's episode of the Windy City Breeze, we're going to talk about the biggest position battles the Chicago Bears will have at OTAs. And it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So want to bring out some of the position battles that you're going to be focused on in OTAs. There's a ton of battles that I think are going to be happening, but what are the ones that we need to focus in the most on? What are the ones that are going to impact the Chicago Bears the most this season? And I think that the number one for me, right, starting this off, is that last spot on the wide receiver room. I think that you kind of know who your number one is, who your number two is, right? But there seems to be a little bit of a course correct with what Ryan Poles did in the draft this season by going out and getting Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott's probably going to make the team, but now you see Dante Pettis being signed. Now you have Velus Jones on that. You're talking about the depth at that wide receiver position. I mean, you're talking about a lot of receivers on this team. Here's the receiver list right now. Here's the guys that at least in a minimum right in my mind, you know we're going to make it. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, Equanimeous St. Brown, Tyler Scott. That is 5 guys. They probably will end up taking 6 into the season. Who's going to be that next guy? Is it going to be Dante Pettis? Is it going to be Velus Jones? You've got Nsimba Walker there. I mean, like there's a lot of receivers on this team right now that, I mean, you could see guys get cut and get brought back to the practice squad, but this could be a course correct by Ryan Poles where Dante Pettis, at a minimum, you know, he comes in, he's going to give you the special teams ability. And I think that you keep him on the team for that reason. Or do you lean into the Velus Jones aspect of it where, yeah, he had a down season last season, but I think he's going to be able to bounce back? That's the guy that's going to finish out rounding out this wide receiver room. It's a very interesting one. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Drop Velus Jones if you believe that Velus is going to be the number one, or drop Dante Pettis. Who do you think is going to take that last wide receiver spot? I would find it very surprising if the Bears ended up taking 7 wide receivers into the season. So I think that that's one of the really big spots that you can key in on here in OTAs when it comes to position battles, because I don't think that's just right where people rank in the offense. I think that's like, you have a job on the Bears, now you don't. And I don't know if Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus and them are ready to just throw in the towel on Velus Jones just yet. Let me know how you guys feel, man. The other one that I really want to keep a close eye on, there's actually a few position battles here that I'm really keeping a close eye on, but this one for a little bit different reason. I think that the running back room is a very, very interesting room. Why do I say that? I've come out very strong on what I think Roshan Johnson could be on the Chicago Bears. I do have a video talking about how I believe that Roshan Johnson could be a starter for the Chicago Bears by the time we get into the season. I'll have that linked in. I'll try to link it up here. I think you can link it on this side somewhere over here, like in the information tab. Yeah, I'll link it up here. So if you want to check that out after the video, or it'll be in the description below as well. Here's the big thing for me. This is the time where you're going to tell a lot, though. Is Khalil Herbert picking up on different things that the defense is doing? You're not going to be able to sit here and get the full contact, right? But the main thing about Khalil Herbert is the question on him being a run blocker. It's not about him being a running back. I think that he's an excellent running back, but is he picking up blitz? Is he picking up, right, like where he's supposed to be in the scheme when a certain thing is schemed up on the other side of the field when they're running the 11 on 11s? That, to me, I think is going to be very interesting. I don't see D'Onta Foreman as the number one back, even though on ESPN's depth chart it does have D'Onta Foreman as the number one back. I feel like D'Onta Foreman comes in here as your number 2. I think that Khalil Herbert starts the season at a minimum as your number 1. I think he has deserved that respect, and so he'll get afforded the opportunity. But I think here's the big thing: Roshan Johnson's a guy who feels like he's going to be how I was going to say that was going to be such a pause moment, dog. It was going to be crazy out here. I feel like Roshan Johnson is going to be a guy who's going to put the pressure on Khalil Herbert and on D'Onta Foreman for that starting position. I think that by the end of training camp, heading into preseason, we could see him moving up the depth chart quickly, being seen as a guy who's going to get used a lot more. There's a lot of time from here and there, but I think now is where that starts, right? And you see how the Bears are talking about Roshan Johnson every time he's in the room, every time, right? Like when they talk about him, like, I mean, I believe Ryan Poles called him a pillar. This is the craziest thing to hear about a rookie ever, bro. They said that he could be a pillar of the franchise moving forward. That's the guy that they believe that they drafted. That to me says that you have very, very high expectations on this guy. You think that this guy is going to have a very big role on the Chicago Bears. And I think that this is going to be very big on Khalil Herbert and D'Onta Foreman to make sure that he stays as that rookie third running back in this scheme to where, yeah, you're getting in the game, but you're also getting in the game for defensive purposes, special teams purpose, or not defensive, right? Run blocking, I should say, special teams purposes, different things like that. You're not taking our spot at the lead back. Let me know who you guys feel is going to be the lead back in this season. Who are you looking at that you feel is going to be the number one back? I think that Roshan Johnson, by the time we probably get to week 5, I think that he'll be the starting running back on this team. I believe that's what I said in the last video as well. But I mean, like, to me, I think they're speaking so glowingly of him. He's got the size, he's got good speed, he's going to be able to attack, he's going to be able to complement Justin Fields. He can be a guy who's out there, a 3-down back, but you also don't need him to be a 3-down back because you have 3 other running backs on this team. So I think that Roshan Johnson trying to move his way up the depth chart could be a really interesting one for the Chicago Bears, a really good position battle to keep an eye on. As always, man, let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Also, let me know what the biggest position battle that you're feeling is in OTAs. What's the position battle that you're watching the closest in OTAs here? There's another one here that kind of, when I look at this position battle as I'm going through it, I get a little bit more excited about it because of the depth that's actually there. We talked about Javon Dexter. We've talked about Zach Pickens being options at that defensive tackle, at that nose tackle, that 3 technique spot, right? But Andrew Billings ain't just giving that up. And we heard the glowing praise that came from Andrew Billings. And I think that Ryan Poles is building his team for a specific thing to get done to kind of enhance what he wants to do going through the season, enhance how this defense is going to be able to play. And that's why I think this makes this position battle so interesting. Who's going to stop the run the best? Tremaine Edmonds came out, talked about Andrew Billings, said that he was excited to see how this guy was going to be able to play. He feels that he's a leader in the locker room. He's a big dude. That was the one thing. He was like, how do you feel about Andrew Billings being on the team? He's like, big dude. Yeah, no, he's huge, right? Andrew Billings, a monster of a man, but he is an excellent run stopper next to Justin Jones, who was a really good run stopper back in with the Chargers, right? And so I think that the Bears are coming in with this mindset of, yes, we play a lot of tough quarterbacks this year, but we play a lot of tough quarterbacks with good run games who haven't been the greatest in one-dimensional situations. And when I look at that, right, Kirk Cousins, when Akeem Hicks was able to stop that run, Kirk Cousins didn't know what to do. And guess what? Last season, when they were able to stop the run, Kirk Cousins didn't know what to do. I think with Jordan Love out in Green Bay, he's another one to key in on. Pretty much everybody in the division, right? When you key in kind of on what Jordan Love was able to do, I think that the Bears kind of, okay, is he going to be this player that takes the next step? I don't know. But you know what helps a young quarterback? A really good running game. So if Aaron Jones gets himself going, that's really going to cause some issues for the Chicago Bears if you're running that ball that well. I like the matchup there. I like the fight there where you got Andrew Billings, you've got Zach Pickens, you've got Javon Dexter, you've got Justin Jones, you've got Travis Bell, right? Like there's a lot of names there. And I think that that's going to be a really interesting battle to see who's going to end up coming out as the number one guy come training camp time. Now, Andrew Billings right now listed as the number one guy, but is Javon Dexter going to be able to kind of flip the switch in his mind, going from a 2-gap system to a 1-gap system where he's going to be able to all of a sudden understand this, and boom, we're talking about Javon Dexter heading into training camp as your number one guy who's a second round pick for you. I think the same thing with Zach Pickens, right? Is he going to be able to figure that out? Is he going to be able to take that step? I think that that's one what really gets me excited, because a lot of people are thinking of Javon Dexter as this guy that's going to become this transcendent 3-tech, this guy that's going to become the dominant nose for the Chicago Bears here. But realistically, is that the position that he's going to get put in? Is he going to have himself ready enough come training camp time to be the lead guy in that role, to be that lead defensive tackle? That's the part where I don't really know, and I have probably my most amount of questions. Those are the three for me. I mean, when you look at the DB position, even with all the question marks on Jalen Johnson that I had and a lot of people around Chicago have had, Jalen Johnson is going to be your number one DB coming in, because guess what? There's not a lot of depth there. You literally go Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Eddie Jackson, and the second line of defense is not good. Tyreek Stevens is getting high praise, but outside of that, talking about Elijah Hicks, Kendall Vildor, Kendall Wilson, you know what I mean? Like it drops off pretty quick. So I think that you're not going to see much of a competition there. Roles are going to be a little bit more defined in that situation. The linebacker room may be interesting with what Noah Sewell could possibly be able to come into the NFL and do, and how he's going to be able to go out there and create some havoc, create a fight. I don't know if he ends up taking either spot. I don't know if he ends up moving ahead of Jack Sanborn. He's definitely not going to be ahead of Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards, right? But I don't know if he's able to overtake Jack Sanborn. I think that Sanborn is going to be pretty solidified in that spot. I think that Flus liked what he saw out of Sanborn last season. I think Allen Williams did too. So at the end of the day, man, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. What are the position battles you're paying the closest attention to? And of the three that I named, which one intrigues you the most? Which one are you going to be watching closest? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you. Like I said, as always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the link on the screen or check the link in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.